Hi, my name's Tamara, and I'm going to be doing that reading. You know, the reading where we actually have Jupiter conjunct Uranus in Taurus. And knowing that Jupiter is a planet that we love, this is about abundance. This is about everything being bigger, happier, more congenial. This is a wonderful, enthusiastic planet. So we're all into this. And a lot of people are talking about that reading, and I'm going to do that reading now. And this is, this conjunction is the first time in 83 years. So the last time that Jupiter was conjunct with Uranus in Taurus was 1941. And that was an interesting period of time, wasn't it? When things were changing very much. And I mean, when I think of Europe, 1941, this was the time. I mean, this was a lot of war still going on. So it's a really interesting thing that it did become conjunct then. And in Taurus, which is very much like Earth, reliable, Earth sign, but it's kind of reliable. It's also stubborn. It's a lot of Venus attributes as well, because it's governed by Venus. It's interesting to look back at that. And maybe when we do this reading now, that will relate. I don't quite know how. You never do when you just do a reading off the cuff, It's just what the universe wants to give us in that moment. And what we know is that when Jupiter meets Uranus, it's definitely outside of the box, because Uranus is that. It's do it differently. It's outside of all of our comfort zones. And it's not anything normal. Let's put it that way. And it's not anything normal on steroids because of Jupiter and the Jupiter effect, which is huge, enormous, always is. Whatever it does, wherever it is, it's a very large effect. So let's get going, because it's quite exciting in one way. And then on the other hand, you can say, oh my God, what's it going to do? And also we all have such different charts, don't we? And the lead up to this, I'm just shuffling the Goddess Oracle cards here, because those are the ones I'm thinking we should start off with. But I have 4 different packs here. But the lead up to this has been very much about relationships in all sorts of ways, all our relationships. And because of the eclipse in Libra and all the different things that have been happening astrologically recently, which I'm sure you've all been linked into. So with this being the lead up, what's going to happen now to our relationships? And this is on a deeper level for sure. It's not going to be about relationships in a weak or superficial way. This is about real connection, which is completely different to superficial type relationships. Real connection is real soul level connection, whether it be in community or whether it be individual couples in their relationships. So what we're going to do now is just 3 more shuffles. 1. Oh my goodness, that was a very small one. That's 2. I'm going to accept that. That's the 3. So these are very well shuffled. And I'm going to set up here. This is crazy to start off with here. Wow, I rather like this because I see this as what we've just built up for ourselves. And this card is the Goddess Oracle card for loving ourselves. This is the beauty within ourselves and how we appreciate and see and activate that. The second card is Shakti with all our energies lined up in the perfect position. And this is the love coming in. This is Aphrodite. So I don't think any of us can complain with that. There are some very different cards in this pack. So with me just talking about the fact that the build-up has been definitely directed and the light shone on relationships. So let's just carry on here. This is the wisdom. What is our... and look at this card here. This is the middle card here is the victim. And this is what we don't want. This is the card that can touch every area of this. But this is what needs to be healed. And with Jupiter coming in and changing everything, Jupiter is not a victim card. So this is the healing of that. I would say what we're looking at here is what we want along the top line and coming down here, and what we've been healing and working on is the root here, which is going to be our middle card of 9 cards. Let's just try and move these up a little bit here. Where are we going? Let me just check my camera. Or is that camera moving into a good position of its own accord to show us all of the cards? I don't know. I can't really work it out at the moment. Let's see. That's better. Okay, so this is security, the hearth. This is Hestia, which is the hearth and home. And this is where we feel safe, isn't it? And it is part of all relationships, whether it be community relationships, where we all connect together. There is a meeting place. There is a home base. There is different areas where people collect together, but different groups of people across the world, because we can't actually, in a physical way, come together as the world, but we come together on an energetic level that way. But with local communities, this is where we join together with even the hearth and home, and definitely in relationships where we come together and build together and not just be a superfluous type of superficial relationship. And I think that's what we've been getting away from in the last few months with the astrological energies coming in. And this is a crossroads for sure. I think all of us anticipate that we are at a crossroads of crossing over into authenticity in every way in relationships. There is a huge, huge feeling and yearning for that in most people who are awakening or who are already awake. And this is about the centering. And in order to get this healed, this victim card, either side of it, we have the way, we have the lining up of the energies. We have the, lining up of everything in our lives. How we treat our bodies, how we treat our minds, how we involve, sorry, I've got hiccups, involve ourselves in everyday life. We need to be lining up our energies in every connection that we have with this life on this planet. This is the new way. This is part of the new world that we are evolving into. And it has to be that we are on the highest energies, and all of our chakras lined up. And this is centering. This is how we get there. We center, we meditate, we take time that we deserve for working on ourself and that higher connection. And this heals the victim within. It heals us feeling out of control in this life, feeling useless in this life, feeling a victim. And part of that, a huge part of this centering, is to center and work on the shadow self, which is what the victim is part of. The last card, nourishment. And this is in what we're talking about here, in this alignment, that's this conjunction that's coming through. This is what Jupiter allows us to do. And look how abundant that lineup there is. We have the love, the wisdom, the nourishment. And this is not only nourishing ourselves, that comes first. Without the nourishing, without the loving ourselves, getting rid of this victim side that is within people, the shadow self, we heal that, and we then are nourishing the real self. Now, if we relate this to relationships, which is really big right now, both on a community level, a collective oneness level, which is the really big side of this, but in the individual relationships first, which help us move to that. This is about two people coming together and being reciprocal with nourishing each other. And that it's not just a one-way front here, that one person receives and the other person gives. This is about the reciprocal arrangement of that, where you know that you can expect that in a relationship and that you're not being the victim. So this is a real movement towards a wholeness in my eyes here, because we end up with this nourishment card after the centering card. But we first come to that crossroads, and we've just done that. We've done that really with the astrological build-up, which has shone a light on what is happening. And we're at a crossroads where if we center now, we can move on in a nourishment way, in every way. As I've just said, both in one-to-one relationships, but first in the relationship with ourselves, and then collectively, in order to come together to build this new world, and then which will evolve into the oneness that we all knew this lifetime was about when we contracted to incarnate down here. And I wonder what's, oh my goodness, and look, the card at the bottom, what is watching over this? And it's justice. And this is the justice. You know, this is the justice for every lifetime we've been through. This is the justice for our soul life, that we are allowed to live within physical bodies, within a oneness, not only within ourselves, but within all the relationships that come after that, and in the way that we relate, where we heal totally this shadow. I mean, I find this incredible, because this is like the wish come true for all of us, really, in that everything starts to line up and the nourishment in its totality becomes a real thing. So we are on that path after Jupiter conjuncts with Uranus to nourishment in every way. And I don't think any of us would not want that. And we do have to work with this. We have to remain centered. We have to have begun to love ourselves, to get our energy sorted, to get reconnected with that heart center. If our center with the heart and the energy with the heart is not centered, and we haven't freed up that energy, we cannot love in the real way. And then this is the journey. We start then working with wisdom, because we have the time. We have the willingness then, when we feel that well, because we love ourselves, our energy's healed, we're straightened up in our energy. We have the love. We love ourselves and we love others, and then we bring in that wisdom, because that's what comes from that state. And this is our real state. And we're walking past any sort of victim state in any stage of our life into feeling totally at home on this planet, and at home with our missions, at home in our relationships. And the crossroads then is to keep that centeredness within us that we have realized, and then begin the nourishment on the really big level, which is the nourishment for ourselves again, ourselves, the collective. Not one person should remain without nourishment when we are in our holy state, our wholeness. That's what it is, the holy state of wholeness. Then we can nourish whomever, whatever we need to nourish, and we will nourish the life on the planet, and the nourishment for the new world will be there. And justice is there to give us that, because this is what justice is, when we all align to who we really are. Let's just see if we can, I'm thinking, let's get the Starseed Oracle out here. Because Jupiter, as I said, is the planet of abundance and goodwill, of larger than life. And we don't really, I've got a set of cards here which we can clarify with, but I'm thinking we don't need to clarify this right now. What we need is an extension of this. And this is what the Starseed Oracle can give us. So let's just carry on shuffling here for a moment. I'm in awe of the cards coming out here, because I'm a Libran. I need to know that justice is coming, because that's what my whole sign is about, and the balance. And it's really interesting to see it coming at this moment. This is actually on the 20th that this comes into full conjunction. So this will be Saturday at the beginning of this weekend, which is going to be interesting to see events worldwide that can occur when this happens as well, because it will reflect in the greater world. Let's see where we're going to go with this. And I would like to see a card coming for that. Well, this is really interesting, because the card that has come here on the top, this is earthed. I just need to get a larger glass to shine on these words, because I can't see them on this card. Ah, how amazing is this? I'm just so grateful to the divine, to spirit here, for giving us this. This card has never come out of this pack, ever. And this is crazy. You can't make this up. This is earthed. And what it says is learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. And isn't that just what we need? Because what we're being asked is to raise up higher. And this is all happening through Aquarius and the Uranus. And this conjunction is about that. And Jupiter is coming in. It's kind of bombing us in there, because it's so huge and the energy is so huge. And it's coming in to conjunct with Uranus, where it is the unusual. It is the higher energy. It is the age of Aquarius. And this is all about soul connection. And this is exactly what this is saying. So to be living in the world fully and to learn that, but not be of it. We are spiritual beings birthed onto the earth in a physical body. It's not the other way round, where we are physical, searching for spirituality. And when you get that really clear in your minds, you truly get the feeling of knowing coming back to you when you realize that all along you were a spiritual being in a physical body. And this is exactly clarifying that. And I was asking for the card for the center of this to get rid of the victim. You cannot be a victim when you realize you are this enormous soul entity that has the power of manifestation, creation, has the power of dreams coming true. But not if you fall victim to thinking you are just that physical being. And that's why it's there. It's totally clarified why we had that card. And again, it just makes me in awe of this whole divination of being able to pick up cards and what it's all about. A lot of people don't understand this. They think, how can this be? How can this happen? It's about intent. It's about any person who uses cards like this and actually is into divination understands that it is about our intent. My intent, and I didn't think about this before, I just got up and thought, do you know what? I have time to do this now. I'm going to do it. This feels like the right time. And I had no plan for this. I had an intention that we are given inspiration and clarification of the astrological conjunction that is nearly upon us and that we will be feeling. And, right now, if I think about this personally, I have a kind of excitement about it. I have a kind of like high energy happening, and it's been increasing over the last week, so that I feel like I have unendable energy. I just keep going, and I just was thinking, I'm just going to go and lock the door and lock up and come back and just chill. And you know what? I have to walk through the pottery area before I actually come back in. And I just stayed out there doing all sorts of things because I was thinking I ought to be chilling, but my energy is unendable and it's very high right now. And I think a lot of people are feeling that. I'm working with two ladies at the moment. We are working not just with clay, because they're certainly learning how to make pots, making things by hand, making things on the wheel. But I'm also mentoring them. And we do 2 days a week, and it's long hours. We just never come out of that studio. But they are the same. Their energy is really high at the moment. Those are two people I'm working very closely with, and it's being amazing. But I think this is Jupiter coming in, and we're getting really fast movement because everything is meant to be that way right now. We have high frequency energy, and this is making it even higher. So put your intentions out tonight to maybe through the dream state to receive information for yourselves, because that's putting an intention into your own energy field, and see what you feel when you wake up in the morning, because you have to tune in to this as well. And if you tune in consciously to these astrological events, you will feel the energy in a more powerful way. And you can ask for help in understanding this. And you can also intend it to be affecting certain areas of your life. I certainly have intention on relationships at the moment. in something that has never been brought to either into action or hasn't been ended either, and I need it to be clarified. And my intention with this energy, this really beautiful abundant Jupiter energy, is for this to be clarified. And you can do the same for anything that is affecting you right now, or that you need to be shown more clearly, because certainly Jupiter will do that to you and for you. I'm not going to pull any more cards because I love the clarity, the simplicity of this, and I love the card that they gave us for the middle, and to clarify everything that we've seen here with the loving ourselves, the perfect energy balance, the love, the centering, the nourishment, and the hearth and home. Who could want anything else? It's just that this is a crossroads, and it is always a choice whether you go forward with even more centering and start to nourish everything around you, not just yourself. Nourish the local collective, nourish the oneness within the world, all of it. And we have this in the middle, that clarification. And I'll just give you the complete exact words on that card again, because I've never seen this card out of this pack. I've had these cards for about 6 months, and I use them every day, drawing a starseed reading for the collective, and I've never seen this card come out. So it saved it for Jupiter. This is Earthed, learning how to be human in the world, but not of it. Keep that statement in your mind, because you are a spiritual being in a physical body. So I'm going to ask if you'll subscribe to the channel so that I can get this information out more widely, because I have to attune with the algorithm, and you only do that when people start to like your videos, subscribe to your channel. And this channel is growing at a large rate right now, and my numbers for the last month were up incredibly high, but I need more people to subscribe and like the videos. So please do that if you don't feel that that's going against anything you feel about this material. And thank you for allowing me into your space this evening. And have a great evening, and put out a great intent to that magnificent planet of Jupiter that is waiting to conjunct totally in Aquarius, well, with Aquarius in Taurus. So thank you again.